There are moments when a second feels like an eternity. At 5:22 a.m. on the deck of the USS Gravely, the silence wasn't peace. It was the compression of a spring about to explode. A mechanical ghost from Venezuela was hurtling towards them, carrying the breath of an inevitable confrontation.
All units, assume alert level 1. I want positive identification of the contact before it's too late.
He's accelerating 38 knots. No sign of slowing down, sir.
Darkness didn't just engulf the ocean. It began to creep into the ship's electronic circuitry. As Russian technology began its electromagnetic traps, the USS Gravely found itself isolated in a matrix of false signals. An invisible sense of powerlessness began to weigh heavily on the sailors as the Aegis system was challenged by this silent provocation.
Report, wideband interference is spreading across the frequencies. Localized radar degradation confirmed. Sir, they appear to be deliberately obscuring their approach.
Hold your positions. Switch to manual scanning. Don't let them disrupt our rhythm.
In the middle of this sea, there is no room for hesitation. The commander no longer relies on machinery. He relies on instinct. Every passing second is a breathtaking battle of wits between restraint and the potential for a war to erupt. The silence has finally reached its limit of endurance, and then everything is about to fall apart.
The contact's crossed the 500-meter boundary. Radar focus appears to be directed toward us. All personnel, don protective headgear. Prepare for possible contact. Defensive protocols, activate.
Suddenly, the ship's eyes were completely obscured. Russian gear technology was casting a thick electronic black curtain, cutting off all communication with the outside world. In that digital darkness, the attacker was no longer a speck of light on the screen, but a hunter closing the gap to death.
Good, Daily Trees. Today will determine the challenge for brilliance.
This is no longer a diplomatic exercise. This is a real hunt, where the US Navy finds itself for the first time at the center of an extremely powerful electromagnetic storm. The pressure isn't just from the metal, but from the disappearance of all verifiable data. When the radar goes silent, fear begins to speak.
What is the contact status?
Multiple boogies detected. Range closing fast.
Sir, the interference evolved without falters. The Aegis system is compensating with the watching and class 2 attacks.
Amidst the chaos of disrupted frequency bands, the billion-dollar ship suddenly becomes vulnerable to an adversary that dares to cross all red lines. The enemy is approaching to the point of being visible to the naked eye, but on the tactical screen, they remain an indefinite void. The battle of wits has shifted from the machines to the steely resolve of the people in the cabin.
No more reliance on electronic cues. Switch to inertial navigation and optical observation. Don't let the interference mislead us. We maintain control of the operational environment.
Boom! The sea surface shook violently under the pressure of the first shots. Huge columns of water crashed down on the deck, as if trying to drown out the last vestiges of patience. The pressure came not only from the gunfire outside, but also from the question tormenting the commander's mind. Counterattack to protect his comrades, or continue to hold back to prevent an all-out war? The heartbeats of hundreds of people on board were pounding with each devastating explosion from the enemy. Every passing second was a test of the steely resolve of the U.S. Navy. The enemy was cornering them, believing Gravely's silence was a sign of weakness. But they were wrong. The spring of restraint had been compressed to its limit. When the red line is crossed, formal restraint gives way to the fury of cutting-edge technology. No more warnings, no more waiting. The U.S. Navy is preparing to show why they are masters of the oceans. The real battle has now begun. The final limit has been reached, but the U.S. Navy didn't respond with rage or deafening explosions. They responded with the language of the future, absolute precision. An invisible force began to tear through the Caribbean night, silent but possessing an unstoppable, destructive power. There were no blazing orange flames or the sound of clashing metal, only a deathly silence as the unmanned monsters were incinerated from the inside out, their electronic brains consumed by fire. A powerful testament to the world. The strongest don't need to shout to assert their power. In the shadows of electronic warfare, the U.S. Navy just carried out a purge using light. One by one, targets were wiped out from reality without a chance to send a distress signal. This is the pinnacle of dominance, where technology surpasses the provocateur's wildest imagination. When the skies are clear, that's when the final message is sent. An absolute affirmation of our position as masters of the oceans. Aegis technology is not just a shield. It's an invisible sword ready to strike down anyone who dares challenge the pride of the U.S. Navy.
Activate the electronic pulse protocol. Let them see the true capability of the Aegis system.
12 minutes of nail-biting suspense are about to end with the most powerful blow. As two SM-2 missiles soared into the air, the fate of the provocateur was officially sealed. This was no longer a warning, but a death sentence for misguided arrogance. That's the moment when complacency turns into utter terror. There's no turning back. No second chance for those who dare challenge the red line. In the world of the U.S. Navy, once a missile has left its launch pad, the battle is over before the enemy even understands what's happening. A display of absolute power. The U.S. Navy didn't choose total annihilation, they chose subjugation. A powerful message was sent through the flames. Never confuse restraint with weakness, for when the justice of the ocean is served, all resistance becomes meaningless. The battle ended as quickly as it began. The Caribbean received the answer it promised. The USS Gravely resumed its journey, protecting the ocean's inherent tranquility. A new chapter was written, where courage and technology redefined the world order. Dawn breaks over the Caribbean, but the seas are no longer the same. Those 12 minutes were not just a confrontation, but an affirmation of the value of peace, protected by courage and discipline. The greatest lesson is not the power of weapons, but the power of restraint and a cool head in the midst of a storm. As we follow this journey, we realize that technological superiority is only truly meaningful when it serves a noble purpose. That is the value we want to bring to you through each film, a profound, multifaceted, and proud look at the people who are tirelessly upholding justice on the vast ocean. Knowledge is power, and understanding is our strongest shield in this technological age. Can you feel the heat and pride from this intellectual battle? Join us in spreading positive values by commenting power and subscribing. Every act of support from you motivates us to continue telling inspiring stories where courage and justice always prevail. Thank you for your companionship. Always stay strong, because justice and truth will always find their way to the light. See you again on our next breathtaking journeys.